Oh my god. I think we might be live. Oh my god. Might be live. Oh, okay. Nobody's dialed in. I think Testing 1, 2, 3. Wow. I don't know if you can hear me on the speakers. That's a little late. We'll work on that. Streaming together. We are broadcasting to YouTube. There's approximately 3 people watching. Just getting started. Audience will grow. I'm quite shocked I got it working. And I have the microphone coming out of this. I like to shock myself all the time, I guess. I've never been here. I mean, I've never tried doing this. You know, about 4 years ago, we got 3 years ago, we called them. We gave them a map. Like, I worked with this nearly 1 point in a minute. Wait, right? We're talking. Like, I don't work for a hotel. I just like go there. And I had all this like interaction, like call the dude. We gave him MAC addresses for his laptop, desktops, and now I roll in and plug it right in and get the super fast already. I'm not gonna like blacklist this or change it until I get a winner. It was pretty hard. Yeah, we had a hell of a time. But this year the network was no, we tried with I think it's all gone. So we have to wait for the next round. Okay, back to the table. Yeah, more drinking. More drinking. Best way to drink. You get more from miles. It's not. The restaurant's not going to be Three people. Thank you for dialing in. I have a drink. And Alex, cheers.
Cheers. Are you able to stream it?
Yeah. It worked better from over here. I mean,
It's probably downstairs.
Yeah, it's like walking.
Yeah, and this is an old building, right? So the walls are
And they had a power cable back there. But I did buy these swanky Hollyland microphone setup. Partly because my kid's doing a lot of.
Are we live? Something nasty.
They're not my kids actually. But
How long have you been doing that now?
remember the Mario? So at the end of Super Mario, the very star saxophone plays Mario.
So,
That is the goal.
is he like super into it now?
I had a second saxophone like Chuck.
So my brother-in-law plays saxophone in a relatively successful band.
Okay.
So and he likes. No. Well, no, that they actually don't do.
Well, that's true.
So yeah, Courtney's not youngest brother, but middle brother.
In the area?
He actually lives here in Sacramento. They're from Campbell, right? They were all raised in Campbell. He's here, and he plays for a band called no, it's no, it matters. It's gonna bug me. Boot juice. They're called boot juice. Yes. Did you facilitate the order of those? You have some still? Not a rocket scientist.
Amiga style. So Amiga is.
I mean, it's great. You're coming through the stage.
I have a couple of ideas about this.
You don't have a problem talking. You'll figure it out. Yeah, exactly.
Get some booze.
Yep.
And then we'll film. Everyone here
Yeah, the room is full.
Of course, it's Taylor.
Yeah,
We're not having a banquet over at the 80,000 square foot center.
I actually like this choice of banquet.
Oh, yeah. Minus the little.
Yeah, like, yeah, no, I'm on it. I had the quarter burger from the last trade.
Yeah. Before I do that, I'm going to run this over to Robert. I think I'll go for a Jack and Coke this time. Something with Coke. Six people. Thank you, people, for being online. We're here at the banquet. I think you can kind of hear me. See Trevor. Yep, Trevor's here. He's right there. That's Trevor. They got Ron Nicholson right here. RJ's here. Dale's here with his family. Carl's here. We got all sorts of people here. Yeah, you should bring it back. Let's do it. Hey, Eric. Shout out from Sacramento. We had a little mishap on the food. The food troughs are currently empty. And so they're going to be bringing some out. Our goal was to start the presentation around 7:30, but we have people who haven't eaten, like myself. So I'm going to get more alcohol, and then we'll go out there for cool. Yeah, RJ's here. I don't think he can. The white hair. RJ Macau, right there. I'm squishing his head. And I got 2 cameras rolling. So that's the famous Robert Bernardo cam on the other side there. Let's turn off screen transitions. I don't need that. That's better. Well, that's weird. All my audio went away with that scene. I don't know why. Well, I know why that one went away. I'm only going to have a couple of scenes. We're not going to do too many transitions. Okay, so now you can see Robert and you can hear me. I have a whole microphone system for later. This is just the crappy microphone built into the laptop, which is why it's kind of noisy. But I didn't want there to be nothing going out on the stream. I'm going to pop it back over to me. I'm going to go get another drink. I'll be back. Maybe I gotta grab
I don't remember.
This guy, he became my cousin.
behind me was like a 10-foot swath. I like the
What I thought was funny at that time, so I think Beth Richard, you know Beth? So she was talking about her voice is scratching. I go into the bar, and I said, can I get a glass of water? Oh, I don't have to go to the end of the table. You don't understand. That lady right there needs a glass of water. You give me a glass of water. Then just like, whoa. And then once the bar, you know, yeah. Anyway, yeah. It's okay to not make a friend. No, she didn't make it. She said it was between times when she was in the middle of transitioning a job. She went to London.
Isn't it? You're right. I use that. The show's not very close. We're not worthy. Oh, really?
I lived in Boston. You said that. 5 years. I worked for a startup like that. Germany as well. It's amazing. Obviously, this is my point. The way we East Coast get always so much stuff, and they're like, oh, I'm going to show you my team. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. to one house. And he's like, let's go. My wife was like, I think one house. So one hand.
But in the concept, the stylus, right? The stylus is wide on the side. Yeah. Yeah. Why do you need a stylus? You have stylus. Actually, slower if your computer is so slow that you can't type that. So when the technology, when the display is so primitive that you don't even realize and yet, that exact technology has existed for 20 plus years. No, before that, even in Palm OS, you could do that. Right? We're talking ancient history, technologically. Even though I know it.
And it translated it to Dad died. And I thought,
Oh, thank goodness I read it before I said Dad. I'm like,
You really got corrected the other way.
Of course, on my little phone, it's like impossible to do that on my little phone.
I was vegan for 3 years. And my I did it for a while. My cholesterol went down. And then a year later, I had myself this skin. All my numbers went back up. I said, what the hell? My insurance on? I have meat.
Later on.
that?
Okay. So it's 7:56. We had a little hiccup on the food situation. Yes, it's a buffet line. You can actually see it in the camera. It was decimated by the first half of the crew, but the second half, unfortunately, did not get food. So we still have some people who are chewing. As we talked about, for the 5 people that are currently viewers, which I appreciate, we're going to do something differently for AmiWest this year. Instead of having a featured speaker, like we probably will next year, we're going to go around the room and talk to people and find out what their Amiga story is. So I've been thinking about a couple of questions to ask. Not quite why are you here, excuse me, but more, you know, give a story. What about your Amiga journey, or what's a moment that inspired you? What's an application that you loved? When did you connect with another Amiga user? And so we'll lead it off, but I think once we kind of get cooking, it's gonna go pretty well. So I have a million stories I could share. I probably told them all many times on the broadcast waves here, but I'll hold back mine. So I'll probably start with something, and then we'll see who volunteers to go next. You have another camera. They're both on the same side of the restaurant, so we'll do our best to kind of zoom in on people. I'll also hand them a microphone, and I'll be monitoring that, make sure it works. And we will ask people to, if they wish, share their name. If they don't wish to, they can, you know, not. That's fine. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Being the 40th anniversary of the Amiga, really thought so much of what's kept the Amiga going really is the community. And so why not have the community speak for a banquet? It should be a good and interesting time. And I just wolfed down my food so I could get up and talk to you folks. Hopefully the audio is coming through well. I see we now have 6 people, which is great. There was a question of what's for dinner. Thank you, Moby G. We had hamburgers, cheeseburgers, we had chicken, we had 4 different types of French fries, I think, 3 or 4. We had fish sticks, we had mozzarella sticks, fried chicken, fried drumsticks, sorry, chicken wings, and we had some salad. I didn't eat any of the salad. I like green stuff when I go home. But yeah, the food was good. We're at the Burgers and Brews here in Sacramento, West Sacramento, and it's a great restaurant. The libations are flowing at the bar, and the conversations are fantastic, and things are good. At some point, I need to get myself another drink. I'm drinkless, but other than that, it's good, and it's a good venue too. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna walk over here. I'm wearing a Bluetooth microphone, so I don't have to stand by the computer. There's like 4 chicken wings left, some sauces, some salad, a couple pieces of chicken. The fries are gone. Burgers are there. So it's good. Hopefully the house audio works, people can hear. I'm not sure how well that's going to go. What I don't know how to do is to mute the microphone from the microphone. It's got that button, I just don't know how to do it. Well, it's got a couple buttons. But I can mute it from here. No, I can mute it here too. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2. Test. A little bit of a lag in the room here, but people can hear it. I hope.
Second part, the
2
other
minutes.
camera.
It's 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We're in go time, my friend. Okay. Eyes lives. I'm gonna kill this. And then I'm going to audience. I don't know. Hello. There's a bit of lag in the house audio. It'll be weird, but we'll live. It's a little bit of background noise, but it's also noisy in here. We shall see. Are you turned on? Is it still plugged in? Is it still plugged in? Is the HDMI still plugged in?
Yeah.
Huh, I'm not getting signal. Yeah. Okay. Probably my end. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm gonna switch camera over to Robert because he's gonna be following people. I'm gonna go stand on stage. Oh, Chris has the dingy thing. Kiss!
It's for you.
Oh, you wanna kiss me?
No, I'm calling attention to you.
Oh, okay. Okay. I should go to the stage. But the volume's on the other side of the room. So we'll see.
Speechifying.
Speech. Okay.
512.
Oh, sorry. Little dangerous to walk around. Okay. Oh yeah. I don't know how to turn those on. A little feedback there. Maybe I step back a little bit. Okay, AmiWest. Woo! So there's not a lot of light up here. We didn't quite think that far ahead. So I don't know if you guys can hear me out of the speakers. There's a bit of lag. Yeah, because it's like Bluetooth from here to there to there. It's not this one. Use the microphone. Okay. I gotta walk all the way back over to turn it up. But you have to be quiet. So if I talk, I've got two. I've got two. Thank you. No, it's they don't have like a house audio system, so we're kind of cobbling something together. But there is a little bit of audio coming out of those. It's not that.
We get more engineers involved.
Yes. I've literally never been up here before, so we can turn it up louder, but it's just going to make the echo more pronounced, or we can turn it off. The problem is that we're going to ask people to speak, and some people aren't as loud as other people. I'm a loud person. So we'll see if it works or not. So we'll deal with a little bit of echo. Apologies. 40th year of things they make to the Sacramento Amiga Club, as also to the Amiga community writ large. So there's a number of people here with a history of the Sacramento Club. How many people remember John Zacharias? A good number of folks. So the first award is the John Zacharias Award. John was one of the founding members of the AmiWest show, a longtime member of the Sacramento Amiga Club. He had an application called AE Mail, if you remember that he would promote at the shows. John, oh, was that for the game? Oh, they tied now. Okay. So John passed away a number of years ago. You might not know this, but John fell ill at an Amiga show in St. Louis. So he was pretty hardcore. So not only did he run AmiWest and create AmiWest, but he also would travel to the other shows as well. That's tough. I know, it's the gain. The gain turns up, and then it squelches a little bit. Well, I don't want to do that. I'd rather kill the overhead. Can you turn the volume down, Jerry? Function and then left arrow. Little box at the bottom says volume. So we'll just have to shout. I tried. I've literally never been here before, and we didn't want to drag all of our stuff and set up our audio here because it's.
Let's give Bill an A for effort.
I tried. But this.
Give Bill an E for echo.
But these are filming and streaming and all that, so we'll continue to use the microphones when we tell our story. It just won't come out of the house audio. Better for music.
Turn up the volume. This is a hostile audience.
So John is a critical part of AmiWest, even though he's no longer with us. It's still important that we remember those who got us to this point and help create the show and build the show into where it is today. I mean, obviously, the Amiga computer itself is where it is today, but the fact that we take the time out of our busy lives, away from our families, come to Sacramento to gather, to celebrate, to share ideas is still pretty spectacular. This year's winner of the John Zacharias Award is a newer member to the Sacramento crew. He is someone who has drank all the Kool-Aid, which is fantastic. He's presented now, I think twice, maybe not 3 times, twice now, at the AmiWest show, and has become a real feature, not only locally but also online. Gino, is he still here? Or did he go? There. Yes, sir. You. Gino. No, Gino, really appreciate all you've done with your YouTube broadcast, the energy you've put into helping out the show. You have a lot of hobbies. You can spend your time in a lot of places, but it's definitely not lost on us that you care so much about the Amiga. And AmiWest, of course.
I love you guys.
The other award that we have at AmiWest is the Dan Klausko Award. Dan was a phenomenal guy, super low-key. Ran the Abyss for the Sacramento Amiga Club for a number of years. I actually have never went there. Apparently it was a house. It had like bathrooms, but there's like holes in the floor. But it was also completely filled with Amiga stuff, like completely filled. As people have shedded their collections, he would gather them and lovingly care for it. When he would bring game boxes to the show, it's because the game had the manual and the discs, and it was all tested, and he would put it out for sale. Like, it wasn't just some random stuff he'd throw. Like, he had a lot of care. He would tell stories about resurrecting floppy drives. He's like, you cannot kill these things. You just need to clean them, and they will come back to life. He was an amazing guy. At the Amiga 30th, his heart and soul was absolutely poured into that show. He did so much behind the scenes, so much. If you ever see the photo of the end where we're all up on stage, Dan is lying across the front, biggest smile you could ever have. So that is an award that goes to people who aren't necessarily in the Sacramento Amiga Club consistently, but contribute with technical knowledge. So this year's recipient of the Dan Klausko Award is Alex Perez, who's on his phone. Yeah. We don't actually have an award right now, so it's virtual. We'll get you hooked up. But you earned it, man. You earned it. I wanted to save him the trip. He has absolute bragging rights. We'll put it on the website, the whole thing. No, Alex has been fantastic. He's got his SCSI to SD products, pushing him in all sorts of different boundaries, Wi-Fi capabilities. You know, you can bring Wi-Fi to DOS machines, Mac machines, Amigas even, through the SCSI port. And I remember, I don't know, years and years ago having a Mac Duo 230, and I had the Ethernet on the SCSI bus. I'm like, why doesn't the Amiga have this stuff? Well, we actually have it now, thanks to Alex's products as a wireless driver. So if you have a SCSI-enabled system and you want to get it online, go see Alex, and he'll hook you up with the parts. And more to come, and much more to come. So the final award that we're going to give tonight is also virtual, so we're all going to imagine this. It will become instantiated into the physical realm at some point. But I wanted to recognize Jerry, and he had no idea I'm doing this. And we're going to give Jerry one of the Amazing Amiga Awards from the Amis that we did at the 40th. So he'll get his lemming. Not only did he help with the 40th with the lineup of Amiga machines, and really, I'm like, Jerry, you just got to do it, and he just did it. It was great. But obviously, planning AmiWest, thinking about coming here, getting this all put together, and obviously without his help, but really, it's the driving force behind all of this. So we really appreciate it. AmiWest would not have happened if you hadn't done that, and we keep it going. And as a community, we keep it going, and we help each other when we need to. We share in each other's laughter and joy, and that's like why we're here at this point. Like the technology is great, you know, we keep things going, but the purpose of the show is really to connect with people. So the next part, the banquet official, is telling stories, and I know a lot of people don't like to stand up and speak, so.
Bill,
yes.
wait. One thing. This isn't really the banquet just for that.
What?
You also have to remember, it's also Bill's birthday.
Oh God, we did that. We did. No.
We can do everybody here.
No. We don't have time for that, dude. We don't have time. Oh my God.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, dear Bill. Happy birthday to
Thank you. Thank you. Never before had I associated with getting older with going to AmiWest, and now it's going to be that way forever.
The Grecian Formula 16 looks great.
So, in order to help incentivize people to speak, we had some leftover shirts from the Amiga 40th show. So, if you're brave enough to tell your story, we can share with you one of our Amiga 40 shirts. But right before I get started, I do want to ask one question. And looking at the audience, I don't know, it's not going to be a high number, but is there anybody here who this is their, we'll start here. First AmiWest. I know there's a couple. Laurent, I think you got a first one. Okay, we got a bunch of first people. Thank you so much for coming. How many people are here because of the 040th in VCF West? Anyone? Nah, you don't count. You've been here before. Okay, thank you for coming.
Well, that's the first time he's heard that.
Well, it doesn't count for that one. So thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. You know, it's about, like I said, it's about the community, the friends that you've made, you make along the way, and of course the friends that we've lost, unfortunately. So the idea is we'd like to share stories. Stories about your experience with the Amiga platform. I mean, let me restate that. Please keep it within the Amiga platform. If you have other stories, that's later back at the hotel when we're drinking more. So I've told this story to a number of people a number of times. My wife's probably heard it too many times. One of the benefits of getting old is you get to say something again like it's the first time, and it feels great. So my first experience with the Amiga computer was my birthday many, many years ago. And I think I was 12 or 11 at the time. And what's that? Thank you, Gino. Love it. We did that.
We can do it again.
We can do it when we get back.
Happy birthday to you.
I guess it's fitting.
Happy birthday, dear Bill. Happy birthday to you.
Okay.
Of course.
No. Okay. So I was very young. It was my birthday. I was sitting at the dining room table. There's a couple people there. My brother was there. And for my birthday, my brother had given me his Amiga 500, the lore behind that machine, which I no longer have. It was one of the original 5 that was sent to the FCC. And one of the things the FCC does when they do their testing is they kind of take things apart. So he bought it as like all the custom chips are out. So he got it at a discount. But he set it up in my room, and he had the 1084 monitor connected to it, and he fired up D-Paint, and he wrote happy birthday, and he put some dots around the outside, and he fired up a color cycle animation. And my previous computer was a TRS-80, no color, right? So seeing that was just like mind blown. Like, this is the future of everything. And obviously, I can say with quite assurance that I've been hooked ever since. Because I come to AmiWest every year and I put on giant shows when I can. But that's kind of my story. Like, that was my introduction. My brother gave me a machine. He had moved on to his 2000. But that, as a kid, like getting that 500 and then begging for the hard drive at Christmas and running the floppy is like, damn it, I need another floppy drive because all the floppy swapping got me engaged in this machine and seeing the poetry of how it operated. So that's me. That's why I'm here. Who wants to go first? Who's got a story that they want to share about their engagement with the Amiga, application that you liked? Alex Perez. But please do take the microphone because we are broadcasting this sucker. No, that's Gino's mic.
Your mic.
This one, the black one here. We can hand that around.
The other kind of people listening to this microphone.
Other kinds of people. I love getting on the stage. You didn't have to, but this is great.
No, I'm going to.
Please.
So,
Rebel computer, rock!
I didn't own my first Amiga until well after it was dead and gone, which would have been about 2004, 5. I bought, as a 20-something-year-old guy, I bought an SCOM new old stock Amiga 1200, and I was always kind of like curious about it. But I was, I was not old enough to have used an Amiga when they were contemporary. I grew up in a PC and Mac world. where, you know, Macs were in education, PCs were what I had at home, and it's not like you have a financial decision to make, you know, when that comes to that kind of stuff. So my first Amiga was a really kind of a weird experience, because I was using Windows XP, right? and I got this 1200, and it was not expanded at all. And I was like, this thing's kind of crap. Silence, right? But mind you, this is 2005, right? And by 2005, it was kind of crap. But I actually liked everything else about it. I didn't, you know, I was still learning about the architecture, and in my hometown in Santa Rosa, there was a nascent Amiga users group that hadn't quite completely disbanded yet, and so I looked around and I was like, well, what else? What other communities are there within driving distance, right? And that was part of why I randomly showed up at an AmiWest one year. I don't remember quite what year it was, but it was something around the era of 2006, 7, something around there. And at that first meeting, we were still at the old super crappy hotel, which anyone who's ever been there knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it was bad, right? It was I remember, I think the last year we were over there, the room I got had mold all over the windowsill. It was like, it was one of those, if we have to come back here next year, I'm not going to bother to come back kind of, you know, kind of calls. And I met Bill at that event in whatever year it was, in the mid to late 2000s, and I ended up working with Bill at 2 different startups over a course of many years, and I consider him one of my closest friends, even though we don't necessarily talk every day. But you know, the personal relationships I got out of randomly showing up to an AmiWest event decades ago, I consider that invaluable. And so I think, as someone that was young enough to have missed the original Amiga era, but old enough to have been curious about this weird machine that was already dead when I bought one, right? I have a love for it in a way that is a bit perverse. But then again, I have a love for weird architectures and machines that died before their time, and I feel like that the Amiga absolutely fits into that category. And I just enjoy coming every year. I enjoy being with you know, this adoptive family of people, that random, you know, guys and gals that have come here over the years, and I'm just glad that I randomly showed up at this thing that I didn't really know much about, that was within a couple hours drive from home.
Who's next? You can go on the stage or not. You can just stand up if you want to stand up. Evangelos.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I hope.
You have to speak up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My brother complains I'm too loud, so I have to start low. All right, so the era is around 1989, 1990. I live in Greece. I go to my friend across the street, and he opens up this box that says Amiga 500. He plugs it in, and he starts showing me how you can play games. He loads some software. There's some letters with you know, colorful things. I go, what is this? It's called BBS, Bulletin Board System. And you go to this thing and you read things. I go, can I borrow your computer? Because no way, but I can show you. I go back home, I go, okay, I want an Amiga. I don't care what you guys have to do. How much is the Amiga? I give them the math. That's our salary combined for 5 months. Are you out of your mind? That's impossible. I go, I gotta make it happen. Okay, go in the summer and work at the bakery shop. Who's gonna hire a 10-year-old child to work at the bakery shop? That's illegal. Don't worry about it. You say yes, we'll hook you up. I said, okay, but whatever I make, it's in my pocket. So I raised the money. The guy was selling it across the street. I buy the Amiga. I plug it in, and the whole party started. I started doing deluxe paint, software, games, and that expanded my imagination on creative stuff. I started having interest for music and film and games. Little I knew that jump, decades later, that will bring me to the US. I will build a whole career around, technology. I was in the film industry because of the imagination. And then in 2012, I moved from Brooklyn to the Bay Area, and a guy that is in the community, he was like, hey, you want to go to this place called AmiWest? It's an Amiga gathering thing, event. I go, sure. So I go there and I meet the team, I meet Bill, and we start talking about it. And I was enthusiastic that, the whole team has Amiga leaves, right? And they start talking about all this stuff that they do. And I go, I had no idea. And from that point on, we developed this friendship. And he gives me a call, what was it, 2015. It was around a time I was scheduling a overseas wedding. It was crazy. He goes, yeah, you want to do the Amiga 30th? Sure, what are we doing? Anything you want. I go, okay, I want to do the t-shirts, the passes, this. And I goes, okay, take it. I go, what? No question? Yeah, take whatever you want. I go, wow, what a freedom, right? So I contributed to the Amiga 30th. They gave me the freedom. And then I met amazing people. Some of them unfortunately no longer with us, but we remember hanging out, setting up everything, and coming today after the 40th, sharing the room with RJ, Dale, Carl, everybody here. If you went back in time and you told me to that kid that this is going to happen, I will say, no freaking way. But I'm very grateful that I live these moments with all of you tonight. Next. Who's next?
I'll do it. Go for it. Sitting on the stage, too. This is perhaps a little bit of a shut up. This is probably a little bit of.
Get up.
Do I have to tell a joke?
No.
And you stole my thunder. Fuck off. So there's a little bit of a meta thing. And it starts with Dale's face when I probably first see they come to me. Oh, shall we let him finish? Right. So this is I have a question. Let me start with a question. How many Amigas were sold?
Total?
Yeah. Let's say 12, 13. Okay. How many kids on average probably per machine touch that machine in a household? I don't think like 2. Right. Yeah. So I've said this to Dale and RJ and others, but I've become an Amiga grippy, and I've stood next to RJ, Dale, and others, and I've seen this again and again and again, and it's slightly different formula, but it's kind of the same idea. Someone will come up to Dale and say, "I'm so pleased to meet you. I had an Amiga as a kid, and that's why I'm an engineer, why I'm a doctor, why I'm an artist, why I'm an engineer, is because you built something brilliant that carried me forward." And so I could have talked about like when I first started Amiga, but I just generally want to say you had an incredible influence on tens of millions of people and their careers, and so thank you. And this is why we're here, because this is a beloved device that has changed people's lives. Did I kill that?
Bill? Can I?
Please, just announce who you are.
Since there's a lot of foreigners, I'm going to be next.
Yes.
So I'm Sebastian. This is my second AmiWest.
The first time I came here was in 2022. So at the time I was living in Marin County in Tiburon, and I actually drove here, and I celebrated my 45th birthday on October 22nd. I remember telling the story to RJ, who almost actually shed a tear. So this is my second AmiWest. This time, instead of driving, I actually flew in. I since relocated to Las Vegas.
Good choice.
Tomorrow, thank you very much. Nevada's great. Home means Nevada. So I've been speaking for like a minute now. Where am I from originally? France. Too easy. Okay. No. So not far from Switzerland. Montreal. Where is he? Over there. So I grew up in the French Alps. Is anybody into cycling and the Tour de France? Hands up. No? Yeah? Do you know Alpe d'Huez? Alpe d'Huez. So I grew up at the bottom of Alpe d'Huez in a small town called Bourdoisan. And my parents are very hardworking. I'm an only child. They have a restaurant. So I'm an only child of parents who run a restaurant. They work 7 days a week, pretty much the entire year. And I'm already a bit of a nerd. It's kind of 1990, and I go to my dad and I say, Dad, you know I love Michael Jackson, right? And I've played that arcade game called Moonwalker. And I actually know that we can run Moonwalker on the Sega Mega Drive. Here you call it the Genesis, okay? So Sega Genesis. I'm with my dad in a nearby city because we had to drive to go to Civilization. We go to a store. We enter because I see the Mega Drive at the front. So we go in the store, and my dad's starting to chat with the shop owner. He said, yeah, do you sell any Sega Mega Drive, Genesis? My son would like to play with this. And the shop owner, bless his soul, is there. Are you sure you want to buy your son a console? I've got this thing here. It's an all-in-one computer with the keyboard. It comes with like a bundle of games. It's called the Amiga 500. I think you should buy this for your son. It's going to open more doors than him getting a console. So my dad, who not very educated, but always very forward-thinking, a bit like a futurist, is thinking, yeah, I'm going to get that for him because I like to create opportunities for my son. And I remember we didn't live with that the same day, but I think 3 days later we come back. So we had a purchase order. We come back. We live with the box. I had never touched an Amiga before. We go back home. Took us a bit of time to set it up together. And I put the first floppy in. Nothing happens. Took me a while, so I had to start opening the manual. And I remember clearly, actually, most of the... So there was a LucasArts bundle of games, and I was trying to play Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I would just not play, so I start grabbing the manual, I read, and so finally, after maybe a couple of hours, that thing started. It was just magical. And I remember that summer, I probably didn't go out at all, and I had some of my friends who live nearby. We spent the entire summer, maybe 3 months, just playing Indiana Jones. Only the following summer did we finish it, because back in the days we would buy these magazines in the French bookstores, and then there was finally a little tip that explained how you actually go through the Zeppelin and you can go to the next stage. So at the time, so 1990, I'm 13. I think I started learning English at age 11, but like most French kids, my level of English is non-existent. I cannot say a word. So for the first 2 years of learning English at school, couldn't put a sentence together. And then I got my Amiga. And I remember going to a bookstore. I bought the very thick French to English, English to French dictionary. And the first 6 months of having the Amiga, I had all these floppies that we exchanged between kids at school, and most of that, it's called piracy, I think, but where I come from, we call that freedom. And so I had that thick dictionary, and here I am, I have the mouse in one hand, and I've got the dictionary thinking, what the fuck is that word? And within 6 months, all of a sudden, I turn up to English classes, and it's like the teachers there thinking, what is going on? I don't know. And then all of a sudden, I'm starting to kind of become more fluent than the average kid at school in English. And this really opened doors. So because I grew up in a very touristy part of the world, there were people visiting from all around the world, I kind of got the travel bug, and I wanted to go and really become fluent in English. So fast forward a few years later, so I've got my trusty Amiga 500, but at some point I kind of became a bit unfaithful. We got a PC. I'm sorry, shit happens. And I tell you what, so I got my Amiga 500 because we went to a store. I wanted a Sega Mega Drive. I left with an A500. And I think it was around 94. I'm telling my dad, I said, Dad, I would like to have one of these samplers. You know, like you put that in the parallel port. You can digitize your samples in 8-bit. We go to a store. What did we leave with? A purchase order for a PC, unfortunately. So that opened more doors, but unrelated to what we are discussing. So later, a few years later, I'm trying to actually come, and at the time I was working for Hewlett-Packard in France, and I was trying to transfer to Colorado. And 9/11 happened. So there was no way for me as a young man starting my career in Europe to come to the US. And we had connections in Scotland. And I ended up driving my big motorcycle all the way through France and England. I arrived in Scotland, and hold and behold, I ended up being there for 7 years. And what did I discover? It's that outside of France and Germany, the UK were as well a very big community of Amiga users. Fast forward a few years later, I ended up migrating in Australia. I lived there 7 years in Sydney. I'm actually an Australian citizen. You can probably tell from the Australian twang. And I know I gave it away. And what did I discover? It's that Australia and Down Under were, once again, huge users of the Amiga, like big communities, the C64 and all the Amigas, which still baffles me to this day because it almost feels like nobody knows the Amiga in America. But most of the nerds my age group I will talk to in Europe and Australia, they know the Amiga. So this allowed me to travel the world, speak English. I've worked for very large household names like Apple, AWS. I work today for the evil empire. I'm not very proud of it. I apologize. I've only started 8 months ago. You need to pay the bills, right? And it's my second AmiWest. I'm just very, very pleased and touched to be around you. Today I got a fabulous picture with some of the creators of the Amiga in front of the Loren. It's like, I'm going to print it and I'm going to frame it and it's going to be in my office. So thanks for having me again for the second time, and I just love you all, and thanks to the creators of the Amiga. Thanks for how you touched our lives and you opened these doors to kids who come from the boondocks, and here I am today. Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely need slides.
Will there be twerking?
There will be. I never got mine. Never mind. Look, two things really. I think most of the people know my story of how I got involved with the Amiga. I actually was a Commodore 128D owner living in Texas, hooked up to the internet. In fact, I was hooked up to the internet in probably 1982. Before most of you were born. Anyway, so in Houston, Texas, massive thunderstorm, lightning hits the house, comes through the phone line, destroys my CD C128. So I had a home insurance, and on the insurance policy it said acts of God. And the act of God was the money I got my first Amiga, an Amiga 2000. But that 2000 was ugly brute. It really was, but it was fantastic, so expandable. So years later, I've moved to the UK, and I'm in a temporary house before we're building a new house. I had 2 daughters, aged probably 11 and 9, and I'd given them my Amiga 2000. So they were using it for schoolwork and whatever. And by this time, I had a 3000, or I just got a 4000. And I saw this thing called a Miracle keyboard. I thought, that'll be good. I'll teach myself to play the piano. Me, right? I can't play the spoons, let alone a piano. So I got the Miracle keyboard, and I learned to play Row, Row, Row Your Boat. It was pretty good. Then I learned to play God Save the Queen. Sorry, right? And then my 9-year-old daughter just picked it up and went, bloody hell, she's musical. And then my older daughter did the same. They ended up going to music university years later, both of them. And we didn't realize it was the Miracle Keyboard and the Amiga. So it changed their lives. So that's my story.
We love you, brother.
So very few of you know me. My brother Dan does. I talk stories introduced to the Amiga.
Hey, what's your name?
My name is Craig Conder. I'm from Salt Lake City.
Yeah, man.
I graduated from BYU in 1984 in computer science. I took a job with a Japanese company. I was over there for a bit, came back working for their country here, and while I was doing that, I was doing some contracting work with another company, and we had computers that had basically the DOS screens. I remember a couple of the guys playing Rogue and just the characters, and one of the other guys brought in this new fancy schmancy computer. It had colors, had pretty pictures, and I was like, what is that? And this is stupid, but the thing I remembered was he was explaining to me that transparent was a color. Yeah, that was a mind-blowing experience for me. So I eventually got laid off from that place. I was looking for work, and my friend was working for a small startup company, small game startup company. And they just got a contract with Access Software. Access had made leaderboard golf for the C64, and they wanted a Amiga version. So they contracted with Sculptured Software, but they didn't have anybody that could write C. So when I was looking for work, and my friend hooked me up there. So my first experience with that was I got me one of those cool fancy schmancy computers that this other guy had shown me, and learned to compile on it. And I seem to remember going back and forth between the Manx and the Aztec compilers. And you know, I was pretty happy because it was a much prettier computer than anything that other people were using. My brother Dan kind of got into it, and a few years later, he hadn't been married yet. I was divorced, and he said, do you want to go to the AMI Expo in California? So we did, and that was 1988. And here a couple months ago, Dan still has his Amigas. I have one in a box in my rafters. Dan said, hey, they're having a 40th anniversary thing for the Amiga. You want to go? And I was like, yeah, that sounds, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, you know what, that actually sounds kind of fun. So this week we piled in the car and we drove here. Dan was happy because he has his a sticker from the from the 1988 trip. And I thought, you know, I'm not sure. And so I dug in my wallet to see if I still had my AMI Expo ticket from 1988. I know. I was a little embarrassed. It's just like buried in the bottom of my wallet, and I haven't thought about it for decades, you know. And it's just but anyway, we thought we would have a fun trip here, and it has been fun. I appreciate seeing you guys, and this has been great. love computers. I have fondness for the Amiga, and it's brought me on a good trip. So thank you.
All right, you guys hear me? Yeah. I'm not going to jump up here, but I'm going to talk loud. So I'm going to tell you the rest of the story. So my brother here had this really cool computer, and at that time, a PC, I think, had CGA card with 4 colors. And when I saw that, I went, wow, I want one of those. And this is about the time in the transition between when Commodore was taking things over, and I heard about the 2000 coming out. So I waited a bit to get that, because that sounded like it might be twice as good as the 1000. I don't know. So anyway, it came out, and I got this 2000, and I was in my apartment setting it up. I was a young 20-something. And at that time, Craig was dating his future wife, and his future wife had a girlfriend, and they wanted to have a party, and his future wife was thinking about introducing her girlfriend to me. So I was invited to this party, but I didn't really want to go because I had this cool new computer. That was my girlfriend, right? Amiga, doesn't that mean girlfriend in Spanish? Anyway, I have this Amiga, and I'm setting it up, and I'm kind of... Exactly, and I'm running like F-18 Hornet or something, and I didn't understand something about FastMem, and I couldn't get a hold of him because he was at this party. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to drive over to this party and ask him the question I need to know how this memory works. So I get there, and he gives me the answer, and I go, okay, I think I can make that work. As I'm leaving, his girlfriend says, hey, I'd like you to meet my friend. I was like, nice, and I left. I went back to my computer. So that was a missed opportunity. Well, you know, a year later, a year or two later, they end up getting married, and her bridesmaid is this same girl, and I'm Craig's best man, and so we meet at the wedding, and I'm like, hi, how are you? And she's like, oh, we've met before. And I'm like, I don't remember you. Oh, I remember you. Anyway, long story short, she's been my wife for the last, 36 years. So it did work out, but it got delayed by a couple years. So that's the Amiga getting between me and my wife. And even tonight, it's still happening.
Okay, so the Amiga sickness, it's widespread. I was in school, in college, getting out in '86. I'm graduating, and I'm like, okay, I got to buy a computer. And I'm looking at Byte magazine, a nice thick Byte magazine. And first there was the Sinclair QL. I thought, that looks pretty cool. That's good. That's got to be something. Okay, it's got all this stuff built in. 68,000 chip, 6808. Oh, then the Atari ST comes out. I'm like, oh, well, that one's even better. It's got color. Oh, maybe that's something. Another month or two goes by. Huh? 4. All the same color. Another few months go by, and there it is on the cover, the Amiga 1000. I was like, shit, what the hell is this? Oh, my God. And I'm reading it. I'm like, this is it. This is what I get. Okay, I graduate. I get out. I'm working. For a few months over summer, I finally get the money together. I buy the machine. Actually, I bought a used 1000 and traded in for the 2000 on the trade back deal they had. I get the 2000. I get that, and it was fantastic. I mean, RJ, Dale, Carl, all of you guys that worked on this did such a job. It was such a magnificent piece of hardware and software that to this very day, how much perfection there was in it, and how much capacity to exist and continue to exist, and what it is still today is something else. But that drew all of us with this sickness, so much so that I've known Bill since he was in high school. I've known, my sister was using a 500, and she was working in a temp firm, and they asked, do you know Windows? And she had, yeah. Her Amiga had Windows. I've been using Windows for years. They decided she's a computer expert. She's been in the IT world or project management world because they thought she was technically literate because she used an Amiga. Her husband was a good friend of mine, and so my brother-in-law is another Amiga friend. I mean, I count Amiga people some of my closest friends in the world, and it's just all of us share this sickness for this machine. It's astonishing how much it infects our lives and how much different it is than using a sorry-ass PC or Mac or any of those things. They just aren't there. And you guys really did it. It's just fantastic job, guys. It's what you guys were saying about getting the excellence, and you can't leave it alone until it's there. Excellent job. Wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. Next.
We've got another hour.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Colin will step up.
Colin.
So this is an Amiga story that I'm sure some of you have heard before, but it sums up how my brief array in the world of Amiga between 91 and 95 really impacted. So David Pleasance and I were running Commodore UK, and I was sitting in the office in Maidenhead one Friday afternoon. It was a bank holiday weekend, which meant everybody had Monday off. We'd be back to work on Tuesday, getting ready to go home. And Terry, my head of technical support, calls through and says, "I have a call you need to take." I said, "Terry, it's bank holiday weekend. You can handle it. I'm going home." "No, you have to take this call." So I go, "Okay," I said, "put them through." And this lady comes on the line and says, "Hello, are you in charge?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess I am." "Good. Can you make decisions?" "Well, I like to think I can make decisions. That's okay." She said, "Good. Have you heard of Make-A-Wish Foundation?" I said, "Yes, I've heard of Make-A-Wish. So we have a kid in Hammersmith Hospital, and his wish is to get an Amiga 12,000 pack. Can you do that?" I said, "Well, yes, I can." Looked at my watch, it's late Friday. We can get it there Tuesday morning. Big pause. We don't think he's going to make it till Tuesday morning. That is a heart-stopping moment. So I said, "Let me see what I can do. We'll get back to you." So I go down to the technical support team. It's Friday night, holiday, the traffic is awful. I know it's 2.5 hours into Hammersmith and 2.5 hours back. So I asked, would somebody volunteer to take a computer to a sick kid in Hammersmith Hospital? Everybody in the department put their hands up. So we delivered the computer on Friday night. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from his mother. He made it to Thursday. And every hour he could, he played the Amiga. And she said, "Thank you for making the last days of his life so wonderful." And that is the power of the Amiga. David Pleasant said it best, I think. He said, "We don't sell computers, we sell dreams." And the Amiga gave dreams to millions of people.
That's tough. What? You're supposed to do this, Colin. Just let it go. Who's next? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. How about the baseball game? That's good. Okay, Gino.
No, it's no birthday. We don't celebrate those in my household. No, I'm just joking. Oh my God, I'm on the freaking stage. What the hell? This doesn't work, huh? All right, my name is Gino Calistini, and God, huh? What'd you say? Oh, come on, so me off, sidetrack me now. It's about to even be up here. I'm so nervous. So for me, Amiga started when I was a young man. I was probably like 12. My mom was a single mom. She got me a Commodore 64, but later that Christmas morning, she realized she made the mistake and got me the wrong machine. But I didn't say anything. I still act like it was the coolest thing in the whole world. So, I don't know, it's probably a month or so later, I come home from school, and there she was. The Amiga 500, brand new in the box. I was super stoked that my mom was able to do it. Still don't know to this day how she was able to pull it off to afford the Amiga for me. So I stayed with that rig for a really long time, all the way until I was about 15. I started kind of getting in trouble. So my parents sent me to a Native American boarding school in Oklahoma. So I lived there. We were allowed to bring one electronic, a boom box, a small television. So I brought my Amiga 500 with me. No, I did have a small television in there, so I hooked up to the television. Is why I ran on it. So yeah, no monitor, unfortunately. I had to leave back at the house, right? So to me, that was my escape. No matter how bad it got, I always had my Amiga to turn to. I always was able to, no matter what it was, I could always turn to the Amiga, and the Amiga was there for me. You know, I was always able to express my dreams through those keys. You know. So to fast forward to now, I guess, to get past all that part anyway. The reason I do what I do now, and I love and I have the, like he says, I drank so much Kool-Aid, is as a kid I always had a dream to be like a programmer or to be a developer or to come up with my own ideas and to share them with other people, right? And now that I'm an old man, I'm grayed out because of my wife and all my children, I'm able to do that. So I'm able to look back at my old little young self and say, yeah, look what we're doing now, you know? I was afforded an opportunity by these two gentlemen right here, Trev and Maddie, to make my dreams come true as an adult. And, you know, no matter how old you get, never forget the passion that Amiga has brought to you. Never, ever let it die. You know, when we hear our legends speak, you know, RJ Michael, Mr. Luck, everyone that speaks to us with their heart, you know, and be able to meet you'd say it was a freaking honor. Like, it's just amazing to be able to hear all the amazing stories that bring us all together, right? And it's a never-ending thing. So I hate when guys say, oh, the Amiga's dead. It's never going to die. I don't care what you think. The Amiga's never going to go nowhere. We're never going to let it die, because every single one of us in this room is an Amiga ambassador. Every single one of us takes this, and it's our job. And that's what we do. We carry the light continually, you know. And unfortunately, a lot of these guys are, you know, they're getting older and time's catching up, right? So it's our job, as I'm the younger generation in this, to continue this legacy and to continue their stories, and don't let their stories die. And that's why I make videos. That's why I get up every single day and I focus on us, because we almost said the F word. We deserve it. We deserve to never let those legacies die, and we never ever should ever not think that our Amiga is going to die, because it's not. Because even if it's Amiga 1, which is the greatest computer on the planet Earth, I don't care what anybody says, or if you play with a FPGA box, or any way you can get your Amiga fixed, get it, because that keeps that legacy alive. You know, I hate when I see guys say, oh, that's not the way to do it, or let's do it this way. Well, that's what Amiga is. It's options. You know, we have the options and the freedom to do it any way we want. So scratch those itches any way you can scratch those itches. So I don't know, I just appreciate it, man. You guys, since I started doing this, you know, I finally found my place, and that's with you guys. You guys make me feel comfortable. I don't feel weird. Like, even with my weirdness, it's okay to be weird. You guys are cool with me being weird. So when I was at Amiga 40th, the coolest thing ever happened to me. I'm gonna get to the fun part. So Trevor comes up, he's like, all right, kid, I'm taking you to RJ's party. man, it just blew me away. Here I am walking up to this guy's door. I'm with him. He's not from America. In America, we have to knock on doors when we go in the front door because you might get shot. This is America. So we're going up to RJ's door, and he's opening the door, and you can hear on my video, I'm like, oh, man, can we do this? And I don't know they know each other as well as they do and stuff. I'm new to all of it, right? So we go in the front door, and oh, my God, I'm in RJ's mansion. Like, I can't freaking believe it, and it was just open-armed. I met so many amazing people on this journey and stuff. I appreciate every single one of you guys pushing me, especially my club at sacc.org. Every single one of you guys created this monster and, always pushing me and telling me to keep going and say I'm doing the right things. And just thank you to everybody for making my dreams come true. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That's it. I'm sweating like a freaking pig.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Please. One of the new faces.
I am one of the new faces. Weirdly. Hey, I'm with good company here. We're all weird in our own little ways, and that's a good thing. My name's Ryan Stapleton. I came from Washington, D.C. I'm the other coast. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Still is an amazing idea at the time. Let's put it that way. So I grew up with the Commodore line and finally with the Amiga. I was one of those sick kids when I was young, and it got me through a lot. So your story means a lot to me, what you did. I spent so many holidays in a hospital, and a Commodore 64 helped me there. My parents got me an Amiga. In IT, I'm sorry, but it's done a lot for me, and that's why I really like the OS3, the 68K Amigas. That's what I was there. It got me through a lot, and I've come back. But I've always wanted to do development, so I've, started doing that. There's a tool jam that's going on right now, and I've submitted an entry to it because I always wanted to do one when I was younger. So I'm doing it now for the 40th. So great. Go check out the tool jam if you haven't done that. There's a lot of really neat things in there. Go do that. But I am very happy that everybody's been amazing that I've interacted with. Everybody's been super friendly. This vastly exceeded any of my expectations. I had no idea what to expect here. When I decided to go, hey, let's go get an airplane, and my buddy came with me as moral support. Let's go 2,500 miles. I've always wanted to go to an Amiga show when I was little. We lived in the middle of nowhere, Western PA. That just wasn't a thing. And now this is my first Amiga show, God knows how many years later, and I'm here. And weirdly, I went 2,500 miles to meet someone that lives 3 miles from my house. I don't understand how that worked out, but that's just so random. Yeah, I'm like, how did that happen? So it's been really cool, and I really thank you for being so welcoming, and I'm looking forward to more tomorrow and chatting with as many people as I can. This has been a great adventure, and I'm glad I've come to do that. Thank you.
Who's next? One more, two more? We are running out of time, actually. It's 9:13, so we got to be out at 10. Great, thank you.
Oh. So I'm not much of a speaker, but I'll give it my best. So my name's Robert. I'm a local guy here, part of the club. First time I heard about the Amiga was probably 1985. My dad worked for the government, and they had one at his office. Don't know what they used it for because he still won't talk about it. And he always talked about getting one. Well, we never got one. And I think I got my first one. I started with a 64. Got my first 1000 in high school, probably 1990. I bought it from a BBS, guy that ran a BBS in Rio Linda. Had the 1000 for a while. It was an amazing machine. Played so many games on it. found the limitations with the memory for some of the games, so talked my mom into getting a 500. Bought a 500. Had that for all through high school. Had a teacher even told me, "Oh, that's not a real computer. It's a toy." And that was my basic programming class. We had IBM PS2 pieces of crap, and so probably after high school, got rid of the Amiga. Big mistake, and decided probably about 2015, 2016, probably about that time, I started playing with emulation. I was like, this isn't quite the same. I kind of want a real machine, so I bought a 500 on eBay for $130, and bought a ACA 500 Plus. Played a lot of games. It's pretty cool. Then I wanted more, so then I bought. Oh, then I met the guys at the club. Kind of got addicted to it. It's an addiction. Bought a 2000 for Brian up back there, and modded the hell out of that. And I don't know, maybe it's a midlife crisis. Most guys buy a Corvette and get a new girlfriend, but I bought an Amiga. What's that? Well, that was, yeah. So, here I am today, probably almost 10 years later, still tinkering, still buying stuff, and having a great time. And this is probably, maybe my 8th or 9th at AmiWest. I don't know. When did I start coming? 2016, 17, somewhere around there. And it's just a great time, bunch of great people, and yeah, that's kind of my brief story.
Thank you. Jerry.
Happy birthday, dear Jerry.
All right, let me see if I can get on the stage without busting my butt. There we go. Well, hi, everyone. Hello. My story starts out a little bit like Alex's. Date myself a little bit here. Back in high school, had my Commodore 64. Loved that machine. All my friends had Commodore 64s, and we'd do all the get together and spend all weekend playing games and what have you. And it's around '89. I'm getting ready to go into college, and some of my friends had the Amiga, and I'm like, I think I need to go to an Amiga now. And my dad sits me down. And he goes, "You're going to college now, son. You need to get a serious machine." So I ended up getting a 286. Okay, boo, boo, boo. Yeah. So I had my PC compatible. I still had friends with Amigas. I'd go playing with those from time to time. But going on into my career into computer science, I was kind of stayed on that PC route. So fast forward to about 2017. It's summertime, primetime TV shows have ended. I'm sitting there bored, and I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm like, you know what? I never got that Amiga, so I'm going to rewind to my childhood, and I'm going to redo it, and I'm going to get me an Amiga. So I went on to eBay, and I shopped around, and I saw this 2000 for sale, and I looked at it, and it's like Citrus Heights. So for those of you who know Sacramento, that's just right here in the Sacramento area. So I thought, this is perfect. So I messaged the guy. I said, hey, I'm going to bid on this 2000. I said, if I win this, can I just come pick it up so we don't have to do the shipping on this big monster? And he says, sure. So it bidded, and I thought it would be like a $50, $100 thing. I had no idea what the capabilities were of this particular Amiga. It had expansion cards out the wazoo. Ended up selling for like $380. Well worth it, but I didn't know that, so I'm like, I'm not going to spend $380 on an Amiga. A couple days later, I get a message, and the guy said, hey, do you still want an Amiga? I said, sure. And he said, he writes me back, says, why don't you come to the club? Club? This I have to see. So we correspond a little bit. He hooked me up with the next meeting date and so forth, and I come into the Holiday Inn Express for my very first Amiga Club meeting. And I meet Brian, and I meet Michael Salcedo, and Bill Clay, and Kenny. I meet all these great guys. And we're talking about it, and they said, oh, dude, yeah,
we'll get you hooked up with an Amiga. And at the time, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get an Amiga. I'm going to play with it for a few months. I'm going to throw it in the closet, and I'm never going to see these guys again. But obviously, that didn't happen. As I got more into the Amiga and looking at it through the lens of history, looking at it as a little more educated person, I came to respect the technology, the operating system, and the hardware that was in there far more than I could have ever understood and respected it back when I was a kid. And that just kind of captured my interest. And then, like I said, I met these great people, the people like Bill that's doing this stream forever, and Brian, the club president, who's a musician. He's not a computer geek, he's a musician, but he's an avid Amiga supporter and Amiga user. And Michael Salcedo did like videos with his toaster, and just the variety of people. And then I come to AmiWest and I meet even more people with different backgrounds. And that to me is what's super amazing, is seeing what people achieved, learning what some of you have done after the Amiga years, some of the contributions you've continued to make to the community through your future projects. And I just think it's completely amazing. In my office, during one of the donations that we got a while back, it was an Amiga sales rep, and he had just the top of the 1000 with the signatures in it. So I kept that for myself, and I keep that up on my office wall. And when the kids come in, they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's the top of an old computer." And they're like, "Well, what do you got? What's that?" So I pull it down and I said, "Got all these signatures in it." And like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." I said, "When you do your work, I want you to be proud enough to put your name on it permanently." Thank you. So, even though I'm a latecomer to the community, I've got a lot out of it. I enjoy coming together and meeting with everyone, having a good time, having a good weekend, having a good meeting. And that's kind of what spurred the whole community theme for this AmiWest. Rather than doing yet another Amiga 40, which we've done in Germany and we've done in the Bay Area, I really wanted to boil it down to community, because it's all of us that keep this crazy train running. Thank you.
Unfortunately, I have the opposite story to tell from everyone here, because I never bought an Amiga. I was actually given one, which I only played with for a month or so, and it actually influenced the people I showed it to more than me. For 41 years, I was a Mac person, have been a Mac person, until 10 years ago, someone called me up and said, "Someone's putting on an Amiga show." I go, "Amiga show? What is that?" That's a computer that no one I knew had. I'd been to, shows for other computers, and they were small and slightly boring to go to a PC computer show. But I called this guy up, Bill, over here, and I said, "Oh, you're putting on a computer show. I possibly could say something interesting. Should I show up?" And he twisted my arm, and I showed up, and I found out that this computer that I wasn't interested in for 30 years, never used, had somehow created an absolutely amazing user community. Since then, I've been to several other shows, and this community has not only been fantastic, full of wonderful people doing creative things with this hardware that, some of us tinkered with, 40 years ago. And it turns out that it's changed our lives, created an amazing community. The community is growing. And the thing I am most proud of is not some electronics that, I may have, my name's on a patent or something like that, I guess. But the thing I'm most proud of is that there's this community. You're all here, and you're having fun and enjoying the Amiga computer.
I'm trying to think of toasters, microwaves, oven ranges? Like, is there a Kenmore? Like,
IBM PCs.
like, do they get together like once a year? Like the Kenmore 5100 range people like have a banquet. The gas ones. There you go.
Cars and airplanes, that's it.
Yep.
Besides us.
Well, there's airplanes. That's true. And cars. Cars, yes. Cars are similar. Cars have a lot of take on a lot of human trait, or how should I say this? Cars have a lot of the soul of their creator imbued inside them, in a similar way. It's an interesting thing. A transference. What was that movie? Christine or something? It's about that. The Amiga one wouldn't be nearly as exciting. You're like, oh, it's looking at me really scary right now, but it can't go anywhere.
Hold the plug.
Yeah. You put the floppy in, it's like chomp, 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 chomp. Anyone else got a story? Want to share? We got a lot of people who haven't spoken yet, and I know some people have some good stories about how they found themselves doing this. You can insert this part for yourself, whatever that is. No, okay. Well, that is fine. You do not have to get up and talk. It's totally fine. So I just wanted to say, appreciate those who did share their stories. Colin, thank you. That was it's incredible. The things and the way you talk about the people working there, and I think that goes to the passion that they had. And was that because of them, or did they inherit it, or did they create it? Things you can't answer. It's all the above. How we got there.
The people that I experienced working with the Amiga, everybody knew how special that technology was and how different it was. And the inventors, big shout out to you guys, because we knew it was amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap. Jerry, is there anything that we need to share before we go? Tips or?
Tip your waitresses.
Yay! Thank you. I think the Dodgers won, right? Yeah.
Well, Brian and I are gonna close out the tab, so we'll take care of that. For everyone else, we can head back to the hotel. We can have them reopen the room if we want to go grab some round tables and continue the celebration. And if you don't want to go back to the floor, feel free to turn into the night. Hit a bar.
What time we start in the morning?
Tomorrow starts at 10, and remember tonight is the fallback. Yeah. So we'll reset our clocks, and it will be 10 a.m. by the corrected time in the morning, for lack of a better description.
Thanks, Mr. Franklin. Oh yeah. So we do have a number of things on the show floor from the 40th. One of them is posters. Thank you, Chris. Over by the future wall is a stack of posters from the Amiga 40th. You are welcome to take one politely. Both are there. Thank you. So there's also ones from the 30th show. I've got a couple of the manuals from the 30th, the booklet we printed. What do you call that thing? Show guide, whatever. Show guide. The show guide. I got a couple of those that I snagged and brought with. If anyone's interested, I got a bunch of stickers from the 30th too. If you want any of those, just come see me tomorrow. Happy to give them up. That was a great job. The booklet was put together by Paul. Thank you, Paul. And helping in the 40th too. So yeah, I mean, I think that's. We'll head back to the room. I'm gonna get this damn future wall working, and I'm not going to bed until I do. I will make it work. But yeah, we're here until I think 10. So we have like another half hour, or head back, or like Jerry said.
Yep, we're out at 10.
Can I tell how I met you? If you remember. Tech me.
I don't remember. What's that? Oh yeah, the shirts for the people who spoke. I wrote down a list of everyone who spoke. If you want to grab a shirt from the 40th if you spoke, come on down. Rob and then Rob. Oh yeah, here.
Hey.
The crew shirts are here. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's no crew shirts here.
No crew shirts.
No crew shirts here. But we can get you one. We'll get you one.
So, what do I owe? I'm going to pay you for the pin that I got.
Yeah.
And then also for the buffet. What do I owe?
Okay. So I'm going to shut down the stream. Thanks, everyone. No.